spelling, grammar and punctuation. How good do you think yours are? Consider the following sets of sentences. Only one sentence in each set is correct. Write down which one you think is the correct one. The next section of the video shows you which sentence was correct in each question. Check how you got on. Try to go beyond finding out if you were correct or incorrect. For any where you were incorrect, try to reflect on which aspect of spelling, grammar or punctuation was at play, and therefore which you might need to work on. We'll explore these more in our next live session. Just to complicate things, sometimes you could argue that more than one choice of grammar or word is okay, even if it does not seem like correct writing. This is because they're not errors as such, but uses of a non-standard dialect of English, rather than the standard dialect. You've maybe come across the term dialect in previous study. It simply means a variety of language that is specific to a region or social group of people. Saying she done it is a use of non-standard dialect. She did it is the standard dialect equivalent. So we could say they are simply different and equally valid, not right and wrong. There is a linguistic argument for saying as long as a dialect of English is logical, i.e. it uses the same words in the same ways all the time, it should not be seen as wrong. This is called the descriptive approach and is contrasted with the prescriptive approach, which holds that everyone should speak the standard dialect of English. The key word here is speak. When we're writing, it is usually presumed we will use standard English. So whichever variety we speak, we must develop the ability to write in the standard. But there are exceptions. Consider the following two examples from airport welcome signage, which use Belfast and Glasgow dialects. Pause the video at each of them and write down what the standard English equivalent would be, and what, in your opinion, the effect is of using the local dialect instead. Now consider these two headlines. They're a bit dated, but I like to use them to illustrate this point. They're from just before Kate Middleton gave birth to her son George. You probably decided that there is something similar going on with the Sun headline to the airport signage, but the Sun headline is not written in non-standard dialect. Instead, the differences between the two headlines are to do with register. Register is linguistic variation according to the context of use. In other words, we expect to find language used in different ways according to the situation in which it occurs. Different registers are appropriate for different purposes. A more informal register may make the message more intimate. A more formal register may make the message more authoritative. Dialect and register are different, but they're related. Non-standard dialect can be used for character and local flavour. Informal register can be used to suggest closeness and friendliness. They are often therefore used together, but we must remain aware of the difference between them. Crucially, we can only be creative and strategic with non-standard varieties and informal register if we know the standard and formal varieties and make a specific choice to use the non-standard and informal ones for a specific effect. So how do we make those choices? It helps to keep in mind the questions from the More Than Words video. What, why, who, where, and when. The writing you do during this module will mostly be in standard English. But for some purposes, for example speech writing and advertising copywriting, there may be an argument for a mixture of standard and non-standard, and there will certainly be a mixture of registers, depending on the answers to the questions. So you could consider using them as a checklist as you embark on writing each piece.